international panel discussion in Pelt. We never had one, and we are very happy to count on the experience of Svezan Mantic.
And everybody else, I'm not just one guilty for that one.
No, I go everybody else. Svezan is head of Photography Center in Belgrade, and also the organizer of the Visualizator Festival in Belgrade, and he organizes Press Photo Serbia. We already know each other for a few years now, and I visited the festival. Really top people from also Magnum came over to that festival, and I also was in his panel discussions online and in Belgrade, and we did the discussions in Paris as well. So we are very happy that he wants to take this role today here for us. Raïs Weert is a young photographer. She won a Young Photographer Prize this year. She is a wedding photographer from Nazaret in Belgium. And last edition, she won the prize of the Corona picture, the one from Pelt. Maybe you remember the picture, the two heads with mouth masks that were kissing each other. That was her picture. And this time she has a couple of young wedding, just the legs are coming out of the car and suggesting other things. But she's also started with working with AI, and she was in the workshop as well the last 2 days. If I'm not complete, you can say. And she has a guest exhibition now in the street before the school, with 5 pictures of that she made in Ukraine. Then Nuno Rico Salgado is from Portugal. We met for the first time here in Pelt yesterday or 2 days ago.
Yeah. A long time ago.
A long time ago. We met each other through festival through Svezan. Nuno has a lot of experience in art in public spaces. He organized several productions with art, also theater art and every kind of art in Lisbon, and also in several European countries as Paris and London and Berlin and everywhere. Yesterday he told us about his project, and we were quite flabbergasted what he showed us. And we hope with our festival in the future to work together, to make projects together and find some ideas. Antti Karppinen I already also know for about 10 years when I followed my first workshop with him, Photoshop in Beauvoir-Nancy in France. Antti is from Finland, and he is also a specialist in AI and in compounds for Photoshop composing methods. He gave a 2-day workshop yesterday and the day before, and tomorrow he starts with a new group, AI, to learn AI. A lot of the people here, but I can say it's really top level. It's really good. It's really an eye-opener what's possible with AI. And today he walked around the Pelt and he made an AI version of Pelt. So you recognize everything and you don't recognize everything. So it's very special. We were in the restaurant, and then in the meantime he made an AI version of the wallpaper and the pictures that were hanging against the wall. So he is very he knows very well how to use AI at every aspect. Jos Verhoeven, Jos is from Arab Squares, Belgium. He is also in the board of our festival. Jos was and is still a photographer. He was a press photographer years. He went abroad in several countries to take pictures for newspapers, but he also was a teacher in several schools. He still takes pictures, and he is one. His car knows the ways to Pelt already very well. I think so. Jos is also very famous about his birth pictures. He already was one of the first birth photographers who took pictures from mothers who were in labor in Belgium. So he traveled all of Flanders, I think, to make pictures about it already for 35 years. So yeah. So we are very happy to have you here. I give the word to Exposant.
Thank you, Karin. So, first of all, I would like to say that we are on this discussion all equal, so everybody can participate. This is about discussion what it is. Everybody can jump in to ask questions or to support something that his own attitude about what we are talking here. And that's the first thing that we all agree, hopefully, about it. I will start with one anecdote from the past. The year was 1923, I think, something like that. And there was like one very young journalist and radio BBC, because it's the time that just radio existed. And he was like maybe 1 year working on the radio as one of the promoters or whatever. And he was asked from one of the senior editors to, let's say, move a little bit his career or something. And the senior would said, listen guy, there is like one new stuff, they call it TV, so maybe you would like to be an editor. And the guy was David Attenborough, if you know the guy. And the career lasted like since now. And that was like big shift or change in something that we know media until that one. So it was like printed media, then radio, then become a television. And it shut it down, everything like. So today we are approaching something like new. We are thinking that AI is something that is going to do something like that to the media. And we will discuss what is going to happen, do we all think about it from the different perspectives, perspective from job, perspective of market, or perspective of truth. So I would like to call everybody of colleagues, maybe the female one to start, to express a little bit opinion how they perceive that new stuff that we call IA today, or AI. Sorry for that one.
Right. Yeah, I know there has been a lot of discussion and opinions on AI, and it's easy to take a stand in this, but at the moment, I think we're just so much at the forefront of everything. Everything is still going to happen, and I believe that the economic principle of disruptive industries really comes into play here. I love how you say that the television was something new. Exactly, that's just what we're looking at. A lot of people are like, oh, we're against AI or whatever. But you cannot be against something that is going to take over everything. I think it's just in our human nature to keep on reinventing ourselves and keep on growing. So basically that's what AI is for us. It's our future, it's how we're gonna grow. And of course it's scary, I find it scary as well, especially for creative professions, just like photography, architecture. It does take away a lot of jobs, but it will create a lot of new job opportunities as well. And I think we should just embrace it. It's our human nature to be against change, to be a little bit afraid of it. But that's what we're looking at. And it's gonna probably make our lives very, very interesting in the future. So there's no way around it.
Okay, thanks, Nuno. Give me your approach about it. Same stuff. What do you think about this approaching new energy? Or what is it?
I also agree with these new times that are coming, and these new technologies, these new techniques tools that we can use, basically to create new imageries. There's a question between photography. AI is photography, not photography, or is prompt, or to me it's image. So you can create different things. Today, Antti just showed us different image about, as Karin mentioned, about Pelt, that are image. They are not exactly photos, but are photos created, image created based on photos, and so you create another thing and another techniques. And I imagine when photography starts, you only have paintings. Now then you have photography that emulates the paintings, and so there's a lot of things that it's evolution, and of course, well, to me this is framed in the new dynamics that we are living now in our days, with the different changes in our life, with basically after the internet, after all these different tools and issues that we have to deal, the cell phones, the internet, the Zoom meetings, well, thousands of things that changes our daily life in the very quickly process. I think the main difference now in the days that we are living, it's a question of how speedy it is, and if before we can manipulate one image, because image was always manipulated since ever, and since ever we create image from different, even in the analog. But the question is that before we take 1 day to manipulate one image, and now we take 2 minutes to manipulate 200 images. So, and this is creates this acceleration in our, but it's all around. We have to live with this.
Okay, thank you. And Antti, what would you say? I mean, you're almost completely with 2 legs in it. What was your vision about it? I mean, how do you perceive it?
Yeah, for me, it's when I talk to photographers, I compare it to basically when digital cameras came, and then with the analogs, and there's these kind of opposites. Analog photographer says, I'm not gonna ever buy a digital camera. And then they, in a way, had to, in a way, move on to that direction almost. But from my point of view, the change is even bigger than that. Even in my presentations that the guys here tomorrow, in my mind, it's basically the tractor that came to the fields. It's like this size of an event, and then these other people that just tries to use the shovel to get these potatoes out of the ground, they will eventually have to go to the place that where, not necessary, but there's this kind of a thing that the tractor is going to move forward anyways, and the shouting on the opposite doesn't matter what the technology will do. It will always go forward. There's a lot of things that I don't like, and there's a lot of stuff that we don't know what will happen. There's a good example about my daughter.
Okay. That one, say for later. Later. Yeah. But Jos, tell me your perspective, being from photojournalism and everything.
Well, as a photojournalist, I can say when I was working for the newspapers, at certain moments there came internet and the importance of internet, and you saw going down the newspapers on paper. The same with when we were photographing people in the beginning, it was always for printing, and at the end everybody asking for digital images, and you can fight against this, but you cannot stop evolution.
I might just get something to write, actually. I thought we would have something to write.
Okay.
And as Antti say, the change between analog photography and digital photography was also something like that. I was working for newspapers, and we were on the balance between going digital or staying analog. But if we print analog, in my case, I was living in Arab Squares, for those who know it is in the middle of Belgium somewhere, but I have to drive every evening, sometimes 2 times to Grootberghaven to deliver my prints. And when it becomes digitally, I can send it by phone. It was slowly and low resolution, but I have not to drive all that way. So you can be against things, but you cannot stop it. And so it's better you know more about it, and that's also the reason why I'm involved, why I'm supporting AI. I'm not doing that. I'm still a traditional old photographer, not on film, not analog, but digital. And I love prints, but you cannot stop evolution. And when I was in the workshop before the days, I've not followed because I've to do things here. I was standing or sitting with big mouth, seeing what is, and so we have to work with it. And maybe one thing I will say, for me, it's not photography; it's illustrative, and I think Antti is very honest in it. He posts his images as digital or as AI productions. I have a lot of problems with photographers who make only AI and post it as photography. That's for me a problem, not AI on itself.
Thanks. The thing is, actually, we all know that photography owes a lot to the painting, actually, as a branch of the visual art. And photography was like struggling a very long time, and I think it still struggles to be somehow perceived as a form of art, like pure art. And it got that long tail through the past because painter and biggest business in painting actually was the portraiture. We all know that one. And when photography took apart, I mean, when it came, everybody thought that it's mimicking actually the paintings. And everybody against was like, because it's going to destroy the market of the painting art. Now we're approaching something else which is like a little bit similar. Photography isn't in the way to be completely perceived as an art form, and we already have something else which is jumping into the market. So I would like to, first one who will be like to address, is the AI like something that can destroy photography, let's say, because it's going to be cheaper, much efficient, because they say in 1 year since AI became popular, they say that already like 150 billion pictures already exist, which took for photography something like more than 100 years to achieve. In a way, what would be opinion of that one? Is it a threat to a photography or not? Just like that. Please tell me first, because you're completely in AI.
Yeah,
what do you think about it?
My background is in photography, and I'm on this one of these rare that went really head on first into that. I'm an artist. I've done so many different kind of stuff with my hands, and from my point of view, the direct answer to you is no, but it's not only like no, because there's sections in photography that it will definitely screw up totally. If we are talking about documentaries, press photos,
no, just keep it
or like
screw up. Which ones? Yeah. Start with that one. What do you think? What part of market would be changed with AI?
All these illustrative, in my mind, all the stock photography, these kind of a generic illustrative arts. I think every company should utilize more on AI-generated images rather than stock images, because stock images are so generic and other companies are using the same images. It's like ridiculous that you have a company, I have a company, I have the same freaking image of a woman in a phone, and now I can generate whatever I want. So stock images, generic illustrative images, that is what is definitely going to target, but not to document where actual persons with the character and real names. And where you are taking photographs of events or weddings or kids and graduations. I don't think the photography is gonna die at all, but it's gonna.
Okay, thanks. Nuno, what do you think about this? I mean, regarding of what kind of market AI would affect, what part of photography market AI could affect or will affect?
I totally agree. The props and this part of market, but I think it will not kill because you just create, you just transform your position, the position of the photographers and the artists that use photography as a body of art, as a media. Their work can evaluate and make it in a different way. If you go to Paris, Paris Photo, or to Photo London, or in one of those fairs, you look for example, talking about the evolution, you look for the market of books, photo books, and it's really crazy. And they are, it's very it's very expensive. So even with internet, with digital and all those things, you still have market, but it will be a niche. It will be not for everybody. So there are a lot of parts of the market and the process that will disappear. But you still have different, more specialized spaces for people that use and have the knowledge how to use photography and with their own skills that are not digital and that are not virtual. It's their own approach. So this change, but I think it's still having a space for create and have a market on this, even if it's difficult, because we know the photography market, it's also
it's changing through years.
It's always difficult.
Okay, Jos, what do you think like a major threat for what part of photography market would be the major threat by your opinion?
I think commercial photography.
But do you mean about some kind of branch of commercial photography, because it's very wide? But
product photography, commercial photography. For those who are following Antti tomorrow or were there a few days, if you see how fast you can create an image, for example, just starting with a drawing. If in the past photographers have to make mood boards and cut and paste things to presenting, he make a mood board in 5 seconds, for example, and he go to a client and he can create on base of that mood board identically the same things. If you have to do this in photography, it costs an
immense amount of money.
But your first question was about AI and art, I think.
You want to address that one?
Well, I think if AI will be a creative product, then they have to regulate themselves, because...
okay, that's another topic, to save it for later, because we are going a little bit by little bit up.
No, but what I mean is that you can create in a few seconds, for example, a whole exhibition on the base of one ID.
But yeah, for later, because okay, thanks. Rais, tell me your opinion about this. I mean, you're a commercial photographer, so you know a lot about market probably. So tell me, do you feel threat, or let's say the opposite, like you know the term, I lack English word right now, challenge?
Yeah, I don't feel any threat at all. As you know, I'm a wedding photographer, so I completely get that with the commercial photography and the product photography. Of course, that is being threatened right now because we can create products just in an instant, but that raises the question, wasn't that industry already getting disrupted? Because with the rise of 3D modeling, with the rising of Photoshop and everything, this was already getting an issue. I think that with the rise of AI, there will be even more need for authenticity. That is something that we have seen in TikTok, for instance, as well. There were a lot of people that were just posting these beautifully produced topics and videos, and then there was just suddenly the rise of the authenticity again, and just like made on your own phone as well. And I think that will come again. People will want even more their authentic self being captured, and weddings and families are still going to be important. There's nobody going to say like, oh, can you create my wedding in AI? I think
we never know.
Yeah, we never know. But I think that AI
You
will
can
just
change
be,
the bride and things like that.
Yeah, I think it might become a beautiful tool for photographers. And it might become a complete different discipline. So if photographers manage to use this as a tool, it's going to be beautiful. And
No. We are now talking about the market and affecting the market. So that one will be for the later. Okay,
just
but
have
yeah.
one comment that Rai said about going back to the authenticity. And I'm always saying that I wish this would happen faster, that the market would oversaturate with AI images. But it has to saturate before we can go back. That value of a hand-worked art is
not
the
going
next
back.
5 years gonna be terrible. It's gonna saturate, and I wish it would happen faster.
I understand that one. I mean, is there any questions until now? Public is like not public in this discussion because we are all participating. So again, I encourage you to take a part if there is a question or something to address of what we are saying. Anyway, there is also the thing that we have to discuss during this conversation. We are all thinking about AI as an extended tool of photography or something like that. But do we see difference between photography and AI? Or is it the same stuff? Or is it the AI just extended tool like Photoshop or something like that? Can you please give me an answer to that one shortly? How do you see the stuff?
yeah, that's a really good question. Yeah, I think it's going to be both. I saw this really interesting movie the other day of architects, and they were having a competition between AI and their own plans, right? And they made people vote on what they found best, and a lot of people actually voted for AI. But of course, the drawings weren't completely.
Why?
Because the renders were just more beautiful. They were trying to pinpoint it themselves too, why that was the case, and then they concluded this.
Okay, that's the conclusion, because they were more beautiful. Okay.
They concluded this video with, we could use it as a tool, and I think for photographers it's going to be the same. It's going to be a tool that we can use in our work, or it's going to be a completely different part, a completely different discipline. So graphic designers can use AI images for their as an artwork, as an art form, or photographers, for instance, product photographers can use AI for their backgrounds, for adding in extra elements. So I think it's going to be both of those.
Thanks. The opposite side, yes. yes. Okay, what do you think about it?
Well, when I looked into Instagram last month, I saw a lot of portraits. They only are made by AI. If the author notes, and that's what I said before, it's AI, I have no problem with it. But if they only post it and say it's portrait, it's photography, then I have a big problem with that, because it's not real people. Photography is the use of a camera, light, shutter, and that kind of things. AI is a tool, and the inspiration and the words you can find as an author to make after the prompt text to create.
Okay, I will ask you to stop just for a second. She told us the question why they would choose AI, and she said because it's beautiful. And you said you got a problem with that one. Is it real people or not? So maybe we can like a little bit switch discussion. What is important actually in picture? Being beautiful or being authentic? Do you believe it or not?
They create the most beautiful girls, most beautiful portraits, but it's not photography. It's fake.
It is not question. Now we have got
it's
a question of the audience a little bit, because we are, as a professionals, we are addressing to the audience. We are fulfilling the needs of the audience as we. But question of beauty is always the question of the audience. They like beauty. We like a little bit maybe authenticity. So I would like to invite the public to say what are you thinking about it? What are we talking about? What is important stuff? Is there anything important, like whatever is difference between AI or photography, and what is the purpose of it? What purpose do we ask, actually? We are seeing images.
Photography is capturing something who is happening in front of you. With use of a camera, light, and an objective, and technical things.
Yes, of course, but that is the point of the photographer. Who would say something else from the public? Yeah, please.
I think that if you want to make a portrait, you're right. If you need a photo to put on a website where a lady is scrolling, if it's AI, and it's beautiful.
But don't call it photography.
Yeah, the problem, in my point of view, I've been in this whole AI thing for almost 2.5 years, and always I run into this same thing. It's a term, and a lot of people are so stuck. I'm pro. I understand totally when people say that, okay, it's not photography. It is not. But the people that are using AI, their mind is changed. They think it looks like a photography. They think, because that's why they post #photography, because in their mind it looks like photography, everyone acts like it's like photography. It's just a term that people don't have the same ties as like years
But
back.
don't slip from the subject. What is the purpose of it? Because we, as any pro, let's say the main purpose is to earn money through our job. The public demands is always somebody who is, let's say, make the profession, actually. We are not making anything AI or photo for themselves. We are not amateurs, we are professionals. What is the actual purpose of being beautiful or being authentic? That is probably the main difference in that two ways of perceiving what is AI and what is really photography. Please.
I think it depends on the use of it. If you want to buy a poster, for example, with a beautiful image, it doesn't matter if it's AI or if it's real. But if you want to have a great memory of yourself or your family or your loved ones, then it does matter that it was a real moment with a memory to it. So I think it totally depends on the use. If you're a business owner and you want to have your product beautifully.
You're a photographer as well?
No.
No? Okay. There is maybe a
She
photographer.
knows everything about it.
Yeah. I see.
You can't post always sunset pictures. So there is a difference between what is a nice and beautiful picture and a picture that's from a person. For me, it's more related to the guy who made it. If it's art, it's art. If it's for commercial, it's commercial. So there is not something like an artist or a photographer. There's someone who wants to tell a story with it. So why, if it's captured in what's the guy or the woman or he or it that wants to tell, that's for me important. It's not about the medium, it's not about what it is, it's about what it does to me. And it's not about selling or money making or beautiful. These are all generated AI. These are the terms that are generated
No.
by the
Yeah, but maybe that difference between being commercial and art is like very stretchy, because we all remember that Michelangelo was actually very commercial at a time. So let's go to this country. Rubens is most commercial probably artist ever, but he was an artist as well.
I like to be very commercial with things I do.
Yeah, I see. But we are now in a track to searching something which maybe differs or combine, let's say, AI and photography. And I don't know the name, excuse me, but she addressed with something like, we want, if we want a beautiful image for the decoration, okay, it can be AI. And if we want a memory, we would like to be a real photo. But anyway, I'm avoiding to being sexist or whatever, but I know actually that a lot of women's actually their memory is put through a lot of Photoshop, being, let's say, more appealing to themselves or beautiful, and that is like extended arm of photography. And it was since beginning of time. Through photography, let's say, when the buried copies were around, we was using a female sock. I mean, not we, but older generations, to put the light through the female sock to be softer and to be more appealing. So manual Photoshop, in a way, was occurring like in 20s, 30s, and later on, of course. So where is the difference, or where is the border between being more beautiful and being authentic in any form of art, let's say, in this moment? Please do not tell me what is your opinion about it. I was like, just being beautiful or being authentic, is there any issue or question about?
It depends of the goal that you have, because if it depends of what you are producing. If you are producing something that if an artist work with photography to produce something that it's and it manipulated and creates something that express his emotions. This is one thing. If you go to a war and to photograph something that is happened there, you have to be there and have to play. Or if you now with all these the different apps that you have with the cell phone to photograph and to make it all in our daily life, in our society, all equalize it and all. So this is different depending of what is the goal and what is the goal of each one use. And of course, sunsets are fantastic. I love the sunsets. Always looking for the green rays, but I don't use it for making exhibitions.
Okay.
And it depends a bit of what you can do. And with technology now in our hands, give us several techniques and several things to make it all clean and all without any marks and
yeah, of course, beautification, of course. But Jos, you disagree a little bit with this one. I thought that you started conversation about this like several minutes ago. So now it's probably
what is beauty for one can be ugly for another one. So
absolutely, it depends on the point of view.
And for me, authentic is one of the most important things. But if I capture images from a reportage, from an event, then it has to be the true image. And when I saw examples of Anti's pictures yesterday, someone are very authentic and I like them very much, others are very beautiful. But for other people, it will be just the opposite. So about beauty, you can discuss.
Yeah.
You like a girl with yellow, blonde hair, I like one black hair. So
I would not argue that one. But anyway, Reis, please tell me, I mean, sorry.
Yeah, I have something to say about trueness, about the image. I think image can never be true.
No,
it's never been.
It's another discussion. Yeah, we will go to that one as well. But tell me, what are you addressing concretely? So AI and photography are both fake, or?
Yeah, maybe yes. Yeah.
That's the thing that we.
In a way that if you are an artist or a photographer, you are just pinpointing your instead of
Point of view.
Your point of view.
Of course, it's a very big issue in the documentary.
AI is just a further going on in that subjectivity.
Yeah. Of course. That is another topic. So, Reis, please tell me to address to the previous topic.
Yeah, I agree though. So you're asking where the border is between what is digitally altered and where AI is basically. Well, AI is just creating something new out of the blue, so it's kind of completely different. But I do get your point with when we started altering images and women were making themselves more beautiful. But in a way, like you were saying, even when painters were painting people, they were also making them more beautiful, and you know that. So throughout history of art, that has always been a thing. So that we alter our images has always been the case. Now with AI, we're creating something completely new. So I can't say I find it completely comparable. You see what I mean?
Okay, but like a more personal question, you're a producer of photography, you're a commercial photographer, you want people to be happy, of course. How do you see that? Do you like that you're slightly going the other side of, let's say, documentary of truth? I mean, it's a good market, of course, but personally, as yourself, how do you see that one? Are you like very easily quit your camera someday and start to go for the prompts? Or you would like to go a little bit more for the truth? So it's like completely not ethical now question, it's like personal question. How do you see, where is the cross line in that one?
The cross line in documentary?
No, I mean, shooting wedding is documentary.
Yes.
Because it's happening. So, by your personal opinion, or not personal opinion, personal feeling about it, because you're a photographer, do you see the line where photography stops and going to AI just as a business, or you're something like sentimental about being more documentary? That's the question that
Yeah, well, I've always been for a lot of authenticity. So, especially in weddings, I really love these raw emotions when people are hugging each other and these really intimate moments between family members. So yeah, I'm so passionate about that. But also going on her point, it's true that at a certain moment you do choose a perspective and a composition, and you do try to capture the bride from a more beautiful angle. And then, yeah, when you're trying to create AI, my personal feeling is not like, oh no, AI is not authentic or anything. I see it as something so completely different. I wouldn't even call it photography, like Antti is saying. And precisely that's the reason why I'm not too sentimental about it.
Okay, thanks. Antti, you're already addressing, and she's like now getting a citat of your thoughts, but anyway, your background is as a photographer, is it?
Yeah.
So emotionally, I mean, like personally, not like professionally, I'm asking, do you see that some kind of border between AI and photography should be made, or because it of course exists, and or that one should be merged and perceiving like beautiful images, whatever it's documentary with Photoshop or AI generated? How do you feel about it? I mean, is there like just seeing what is happening and you go a line, or maybe you're thinking some, I don't know, some other thoughts that you didn't share?
Yeah, so of course, let's say I have my kid's graduation or whatever. I want photography. I want real things. But on the same time, I could also make myself more of a digital art, like a memory out of it. In the same, I'm not stuck in the terms. I'm not separating photography or AI or any digital art on their, in a way, own categories. They have their place, and I'm not like stuck that this is. I understand the terminology what photography is, but I'm an artist and I just create what comes out of me without thinking what the medium is. They are just, in a way, in my point of view, they are different mediums, and they have their place even in my life, where photography, it's only choice what I consider as a photography, and the rest is just art. I don't mind if it's like clay piece of shit I make and take a photo of it. Is this the art or my photo is the art? These are I don't care in that sense.
Okay, thanks. Now I would like to invite everybody to participate a little bit in this part of discussion, because we all know what is documentary photography. We all know, like lady said, that is manipulative. But let's a little bit discuss what is documentary photography, what that term actually means, even if it's manipulative or it isn't. Let's discuss a little bit how manipulative can be, how seductive can be, and let's see where I like the English word, but where we are now with documentary photography at this point of living and evolution of it. And let's start with documentary for a couple of minutes to see how do we perceive documentary photography now in this world? What is the purpose of it? What is the meaning of it? And is it manipulative or not? Just documentary photography. So please, because being a documentary photographer, from commercial part of documentary photography, because you're shooting what exists in front of you. Tell me what you think about documentary photography. Is it important to be? Is it important? Does it have any kind of value? And what value do you see in that one?
Right. Documentary photography, I wouldn't call myself a documentary photographer per se, because I don't think weddings...
That one will exist in like 1 year, because everybody who is shooting just in front of him, it would be documentary photographer opposed to AI.
Right. Yeah, but I think there have been numerous examples of situations at war that were just cropped, and if you saw the bigger picture, you saw what was actually happening around it. Or many photographs. I think we all know these examples, or these examples of bodies that were placed there to make things look worse. And that has been a huge discussion in documentary photography for a very long time. When is it authentic documentary and when is it not? If you alter the scene, then of course it's not. Yeah, so there's that aspect. And if you're asking for about the weddings, I think per definition you are documenting through your own lens, through the way you see the world. I might see elements that other people don't see. So a piece of us is always represented in our images that we capture. And maybe a piece of us is also captured in AI because we tell them the prompts. So yeah, I don't know there.
Okay, we are not seeing the difference in this approach. Nuno, what can you tell me about it? I mean, documentary photography, plain and clear. How manipulative is it, by your opinion and by your experience? And is there any value in it, actually? How do you see it right now? What is the goal and purpose of documentary photography these days?
I think the first documentary photography, it's a need. We need each time more. And it's ridiculous how we arrive now with this war in Europe, where we really need documentary photography. In the same hand, we only have it's always partial, it's always a point of view, because we only have access to the side that we want, and we will choose, so I'm completely for Ukraine, but it's true that we don't have any point of view from Russia, because we decide in Europe to cancel the other side, so it's always a point of view. We don't know what is happening in the other side. We don't want to know, but of course we also don't know. So it's depending. So it's always.
So is it manipulative?
It's always manipulated. This is clear, and you can manipulate it in one way or the other way. But I think you really need this. And about about what Antti was telling about Hidu art or Hidu image. Because, of course, making a photo that you transform in black and white, that you turn the noise, that you crop, that you enlarge, that you transform it in Photoshop or before in the lab. So everything is transformed, and we always transform the image. And for example, this question between photography or prompt.
No, we are not talking about it. We are just talking about documentary. Yeah. But
for example, he mixed both things. He mixed a photo that I saw in the workshop. He take a photo that is a real photo of a real model, and then he puts a back.
Yes, but do we need actually documentary because it's manipulative? Is it important or is it not?
No, yeah, well, you cannot, when you do documentary, you can play with the image, but you cannot manipulate the image.
Why?
Because then you create another reality. And this is more difficult.
Okay, please.
With you, because I'm referring now to David Attenborough's beautiful videos about dinosaurs, life animal dinosaurs. They are extinct, and we don't know how they look for real, but the videos are so real that you can define them as documentary. So I can say that you can make a fake documentary so real that it has its own values as documentary.
Maybe it's a fiction movie because the scientist doesn't know how do they move at all. So this is like guessing.
Yeah, but
anyway, Antti, just about documentary photography, not mixing the two topics. What is your opinion? Should it exist? Does it have a value because it's also manipulative ground, or what do you think about it?
Of course, it has to exist, and my terminology would be that I wouldn't call that manipulation. I would call it selective. That you select what you want, basically.
More diplomatic.
It's your point of view.
Yeah. So what you select to represent in your documentary images. So I wouldn't call it manipulative. And in documentary, I think that would be, in my case, it would be one of the most important these sections of creating images that has to be true, because if that turns into AI-generated images, then we don't have anything that we believe. So that's why all the different press agencies tend to make their own rules. There's no law stating that they have to do it, but they try that the press would be honest, and they would, if in the magazines there would be an AI image, they would write.
Okay, we are going a little bit further.
I think it should be on that level. It should be in some rules. They cannot make common rules, but they
okay, so you're fighting for, I mean you're for something that the documentary should exist as it is.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
It still exists, but I will explain more. If we haven't photographers in the past who are capturing the moments and the cities and the people 50 years, 100 years ago, we didn't have images of them now. So it's necessary that it still exists, documentary photography, because it's capturing a moment, a time, a lifestyle. It's capturing things that happen now. And if we don't capture it now, we don't have it for the next generations.
But I mean, AI can do it very easily to so-called capture now with buildings, clothes, and everything.
As I can imagine, you regenerate the Finnish farmers in the 90s, in the 1900s, but it's nice, but it's not the real thing. It's not what was happening there. It's not the people from there. Same now. We can now capture. You can make images, and it can change on any way. But it's necessary to capture a lifetime, capture moments, capture history. On manipulation, I was working for 25 years for newspapers. I photographed for the Standard, for the Morgen, 2 principal newspapers in Belgium, one on the left side, one on the right side. When I was working for the left side, I photographed like the left photographer. When I worked for the right side, I would photograph images on the right side. I explained, when I was going to the manifestation, I know what to have to photograph for publishing on the first page for that kind of newspaper, and I know what to photograph for the first page image for that newspaper. When I photographed politicians, and they were not in my opinion, I can make them very ugly. Just with light composition and point of view. Some people mail or write or phone to the newspaper that they will not have me again as a photographer next time. Another one, I can photograph like a hero, and they say, send me that photographer again. So it's manipulative. You can manipulate the things. You are the master of the image. You frame it, you light it, you make it. So it's your point of view on that person, on that thing. So yes.
Yes, it can be actually very manipulative. I mean, being from Serbia, from very dynamic politically background and a lot of riots and demonstrations and everything, I was like for almost 30 years documentary photography, working in newspapers, working for Reuters and APM and stuff. Anyway, I was like so many times being on the scene, like demonstrations, and you got pro and against, let's say, demonstrations oriented newspapers. And tomorrow, after the event is gone, you can see like it was 50 people because somebody is pointing the camera to the 50 people on the corner, and it was like 10,000 people. So it is manipulative, of course, and it can be used as manipulative tools, of course, but from the other hand, we all see that, I don't know about the audience, and we're asking for the question, we all see that we got some kind of anchor in that visual images, and that we all need it somehow to cherish it, or we don't. That is the issue between, I think, documentary photography, even being manipulative, and AI. Do we need it or don't? I mean, what is the proof on the court, and what can be proof on the court? The thing and the difference right now, I think that only documentary photography and the negative can be some kind of proof on the court, being like that was happening or not. Or we can create another truth for all of us. So I'm waiting for that question to hear from the...
I have a question myself. What if you flip things around? We're mainly talking about generative AI, right? Images being generated from these neural networks that are trained with a bunch of input data. But what if the AI actually controls the camera? And it actually does that already. If you take a picture in auto mode, there's already some machine learning going on. There's already an AI, a neural network, that helps you take a perfect picture. What if you put a bigger AI in your expensive camera, attach a robot to it, and then it starts taking pictures in places where you can't even go at them?
It's already happening, I think.
Yeah.
On the Mars, yeah.
Like picture drones, they already can follow people around, and it's only start because they don't have a lot of processing power. What if they have way more processing power? Like, where is the authentic? Where do you draw the line?
That is the question. That's what I'm asking. Where is the authenticity? Is there any authenticity actually in imagery nowadays? Is there any authenticity, and what kind of it? Well, no, you would like to say? Okay.
Oh yeah, there are a lot of things that are quite authentic, but some other things that are created. But we almost can come for the painting, because with AI you can painting and create some landscape with people that are not there, and you can paint it like you do it before. Of course, now we do it in 30 seconds. Before it takes 2 days or 1 month, but you can create another reality. So it's a different picture. But this is one thing.
Do we need authenticity or not?
Authenticity.
Do we need it or not?
Of course we need it.
Why?
Because sometimes it's good to have a slap in your face.
It would be nice to have it.
Sometimes.
Okay, Jos, what do you think? Do we need authenticity or not?
Yes. even if it's AI or it's photography, we need some authenticity because it does make the difference between.
What kind of difference?
Well,
everybody is asked to see what that kind of difference. We are just talking like half an hour right now. Nobody is like touching it, but we all need some kind of difference in authenticity, but we are not seeing what kind.
No.
Yeah. Karim, please.
I
Help us.
was thinking what Nikki said. Then, if you think further, then also the montage journalists are not needed anymore because you can give a drone. A drone will make the photographic pictures, and we will see it through the eyes of the drone and not through the eyes of the photographer who is left or right or left or right newspaper.
But why?
That idea I found a little bit scary as well because that's technology that can be sent and that also I don't know how big the input is, and I think Nikki will know more about that because he's very close to the developments of these things. Yeah, then we don't. If that's happening, we cannot believe anything anymore. No, we can believe. We see things through the eye of the photographer every time.
So it will be like very scary if I click this phone and we all disappear here. Because we are AI generated and you're just watching an empty wall.
She's quite real.
Yeah, but they don't believe it. They cannot touch her. So anyway, I'm joking a little bit, but we are searching for something. Okay, please.
So I like to join first standards in a way that the question is, can a robot be authentic? Or can only a human be authentic? Is authenticity something humanoids?
Authentic robot? What's the thing that we are like touching and nobody is saying? I'm not the one who's supposed to say, because I see the common ground. Why do we need something like truth, which differs from something which is creation? But we don't see that kind of value maybe at this point. But through the talk, maybe we will touch it like more. Please, maybe we will touch it like more correctly. What is it like to have name for that one? Or maybe you?
Yeah, what is authenticity? Because is it true? Because then it's objectivity, and like Ray said, and like Jean said, it's always through the eyes of the photographer, just as many research is also not really objective because it's also done by people
Person, of course.
who have their own opinion.
By subjects.
Yeah. So how do we define authenticity on a photographic level? Is it something?
We are now trying and struggling for that one, but sweating about it, please.
I think maybe instead of authenticity, you can maybe also say like it's art. To have everything is, as a photographer, for instance, you have also different kinds of photographers, like analog, Polaroid, digital, and in digital, there are some photographers who want to manipulate their stuff afterwards in post-processing. And then further on you have AI, which is a step further on. But for me, it's all of a kind of art. Myself, I'm a photographer. I like to do some things as a photographer, but I will also follow the trading because I like some things to do in my own projects as a photographer, but to go a step behind, which is also for me just a different kind of art.
Okay, maybe this is just my point of view. I was never defer photography from sculpture or from architecture or whatever, because art is not the paper or the concrete or whatever. You cannot call something art because it belongs for certain type of I don't know, material. Art is something if artists stand behind. So if it's real creation that you can create it from the plastic bottle or through the photography or through the building or whatever, that's why I don't believe that painting is art or sculpture is art, because it's kind of, I don't want to swear here, but it cannot be all art. It's like just a medium to express yourself. That's why I understand you. That's why I understand you're saying completely the same thing, because if you're expressing yourself through any form, that is art. But we are now at the point not talking about is it form of art, AI, but do we need a difference between photography and AI? Is there a line between those things, and should we make it or not? That is a general question here. Is it AI another form of expressing and photography is something else? Or we are seeing it as well, like we talked some minutes ago, there is extended arm of photography. Should we make like clear difference between those two or not? What do you think? Please.
Really hard.
It's complex.
It's complex in so many reasons, and I would say no, because we don't know, either of us don't know when photography changes into AI. For example, what you said, all our cameras are packed with AI, and if we are using AI in camera, what's in a way, there's not much of a difference. Our phones are full of AI. All these mediums, the drones or our cameras, doesn't do anything without us at the moment. We are not close to singularity when drones just decided them on themselves, becomes self-aware, and then they just fly them up there and just start taking pictures. All they need us at the moment. But in a way, I cannot make a difference in a way, photography and AI art, because it's not black and white of those two terms. It's a so much bigger thing, because everything is involved. All those cameras there have some kind of AI already in them. So it's.
Reis, what do you think about it? Should we make a difference between photography and AI?
That raises the question, what is photography per se? Photography is writing with light, and are we still writing with light when we are entering prompts? But that also raises the question, it has been a discussion for a very long time, when someone is thinking about a composition, about a lighting, is framing the shot and tells someone right next to me, can you press the shutter? You're still the photographer because you conceptualized this image.
Yeah, but we are talking about prompts and light.
Exactly. So basically, you can question if you enter a prompt, you're not a photographer, but then where do you draw the line? Because for instance, ChatGPT doesn't make someone a copywriter. However, copywriters are using it as a tool to actually write their text. And because they're copywriters, they can give in better prompts, giving them better texts. And I think the same can go for us, photographers. Because we're photographers, we can maybe give better prompts, do the lighting like this, do the composition like this. We have an image in front of our eyes that maybe other people won't be able to express, how to turn this into an image. So this is really just merging.
So you don't have a clear attitude about it. Should be that defer, like photography apart from AI? There is no clear feeling or thinking about it?
I think they can truly merge, and that also on what he just said, the opposite way. Indeed, if our phones are getting equipped with AI and then your phone is telling...
Should they?
well, they are getting equipped with AI, and should we is not really the question. It's just happening because evolution is always happening. So people will always do that. But then if your camera tells you, oh, move a little bit towards the right and shift your phone a little bit so the light is falling better onto your subject, is it still a photographer? Well, less and less. So
Okay, so there is no clear line from your point of view. Jos, please tell me.
For me, there's a clear line, but I think
It should be or not?
no. Let me explain. There has to be rules in the way we use it. If you will participate in a photography competition, and it's about photography, and people ask you to make photographs, then I think it has to make with camera, with light, with lenses, and things like that. If you participate in an art competition where it's not
It's open field?
it's an open field, and then you are free to use both. If I'm not believing in AI,
So now you're saying that it should be difference, let's say, at least in the competition.
yeah. There has to be a difference. There has to
No,
be
no.
in rules.
No, what do you think? It should be or should be not define where is the line between photography and AI?
First, nothing is black and white. It's always complex.
Apart
A
from
lot
black
of
and white
gray
photography.
parts. But one line that is clear that, and there's a lot of people that defend this, and the question about the Sony Prize with Boris Odagson, to him, what he presents, it was a prompt and not photography, and he tried several times to contact and explain to Sony that it's not photography. And so this creates all this problem because it's from not photography. So he defended that he had to have a different category. But seeing some parts of the workshop that Antti is showing, when he take a photo and he adds a background, he take a photo from his phone that is real, and a model that is real, and a background that is not real, he add by AI. It's a mix. It's
It's a mix, but what do you think?
And
It should be clear line or not?
It should be clear that this is a merged image, but in fact, we always mixing and painting and.
In fact, yes, of course, but your attitude is it should be clear line or not?
To me, being in a category as art or image creation and artistic creation, then whatever, you can use what you want. If it's documentary then you need to be, if you work for a news, to news, if you are documenting something, then you have to be much more aware about your point of view.
Okay, so the line should be clear or not?
It depends. It depends on the situation. But I never
Okay. Now I would like to call the audience. What do you think? Is there should be a clear line or not? Please.
I agree with Nuno that it is difficult because also if you take a picture with the camera, let's say I take a portrait of a woman or a man, and I put it in my Lightroom or in Photoshop, and I try to take away all the blemishes. I can do it two ways. I can do it manually, or I can put AI on it. So there.
Kind of, you personally, you think that there is like it has to be merged, or it should be merged, or we don't have to separate it, or what?
I think we cannot stop that anymore.
No. I was like asking for the personal feeling. Is there a line that we should draw or not?
I think as long as it starts from a real photo,
For a real photo?
Then it is still photography.
Even if you are okay. I see.
If you create it by prompt, then it's not photography.
Okay, everybody else, I mean, do you agree or disagree? Please tell me some opinion. It should be or should be not clear line between photography and AI?
It depends on the goal.
No. Not depending on the goal. Is there like line that we should draw or not?
Yeah, but you can't lie. If you take a picture and you present it, you can't lie. If you lie, you know it. It doesn't matter who looks at the picture. If you lie, you lie.
Even if anyone believes.
Yes, but
Even if anyone believes it's.
Yeah, you cannot lie.
okay, now we are in that probably field that we can open another part of discussion. Purpose. Everybody says depending on the purpose, that we should keep photography, like documentary photography, alive. We didn't know why, but let's say we are reading a news, any kind of news, or we are approaching any kind of document about something. Can it be manipulated how much, or we are drawing the line, documentary is documentary, manipulative image is manipulative image, and AI is AI? Is there a difference?
But you can, if you see your audience now, they don't even believe anything anymore. No.
Yeah, but it's more ethical question in the production. Should we, let's say in the newspaper, see clearly, this is AI manipulative image? Beneath or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Talking about drawing the line between photography and AI, during the workshop now, the coming 2 days, so I hope will learn a lot about the world of AI. But at the moment, I can tell when I you click on a camera, I feel the photography. You feel like photography. If I use, and already tried, to use a prompt to create an image that's powerful, then I don't feel like using artificial intelligence to create something. It doesn't give me any satisfaction. So I'm looking forward to the workshop to see if it opens my eyes, to change my idea of AI. But at the moment, I still feel like I would click and I feel like.
So everybody's here. I said a lot of yes with a question in a newspaper, documentary field, which represents some kind of event or truth or whatever it is. We should see if there is an illustration that says that is an illustration, AI created, manipulated, or whatever. No, so we need that one. Everybody agrees pretty much about it. Maybe disagree, tell me.
Should you say, I took this picture because I want this boy there in that war zone to look sad? Or should that be done, the disclaimer on the picture as well?
No. It's just...
It's also manipulative, right? It's also...
It is, but...
what he said about ethics, like...
That raises the question of ethics, of course. Raiz already told a couple of times, it is, obviously it is manipulation in a way, but it stops in this field when you interfere with the subject. When you say, okay, a little bit further, a little bit more to me to look better. If you interfere, then it's not documentary any longer. And it should be like directed photography underneath. And it's already happening in the media. In serious media, it's already happening. I know personally the guy who won the Pulitzer Prize. He was working for New York Times. He was like big shot. And he asked some person to raise the hand in the purpose of being a little bit more appealing photo. Somebody told, and he was like vanished from the New York Times because of that.
But you can also do that without asking somebody to
yes,
you
but
change your position.
Yes, you can change your position.
But you don't have the shit.
Yeah.
You can take a picture without the crowd and see.
Absolutely. But we draw some line. We draw one line, and that line is don't interfere with subject. And that is the line. That was the line we are asking now. Should we make the line between photography and AI? Is there a line that we say, stop, this is not photography any longer, and starts to be AI. So that's what we are now discussing, and do we need any kind of rules for that one? Because we are approaching, of course, like new matter in our lives, in our everything is going to be all over us. So do we need any kind of rules for that one? I can ask Jost, let's say.
Exists already. I remember that I made photo collages for the newspapers because things were not really photographable at that time. And AI doesn't exist, so I make a picture, cut and paste and make a new picture. And then another image it's a photo collage. And I think, to be honest, when you create images for newspapers or magazines or news, that it's be honest to put under the image it's AI illustrative or it's AI manipulated.
So there is a rule.
But when there is a difference between with your subject, when you say put all your arms in the air to make a picture, to leave it, to let it look like they are happy or they are demonstrating. It depends on what they do with their hands. That's another thing. Then take the picture from a different image, different angle. Then you are not interference with the people, but you are directed your viewer to the point of view you will.
Of course, that was the line. That was the line. You are not interfering with the subject. That's the line. Documentary or non-documentary, of course. But no. What can you say about it? I mean, is there something like rules that we gotta have about this topic or not, or just we're letting to happen like whatever it happens?
No, I think you should have clearly in documentary, in news. When you have manipulated image by AI or a photo collage like it make before, certainly you need to mark this to be clear that it's using in news, not in art.
Of course, that was the question raised.
But I think this is important. But changing the image with AI, it exists since ever and ever in photography, and we have a lot of examples that people transform the image and erase in the communist process, erase people from also have. It's always work, except that before we do it they do it in take days or months, and now you can do it and transform in a very immediate way.
Yeah.
So this is speedy of the moment, speedy. This is, I think.
Yes, but actually you said you need the rules to defer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's one. Please tell me, what do you think? Do we need rules to define what is what in this area?
Yeah, the rule now is that we can check a lot of images from people who are not media-based, who are independent, who are eye walkers. So we have to learn to check things at different levels. There was a time that only the photographer took the picture of the...
Yeah, now
yeah, of course,
it's impossible.
They post the picture, just check it. And
of
check
course.
all the media and check it.
We call it media literacy, of course. We know all about it. We have to be with eyes open, of course, but we are now talking about ethics of informing. So what's your opinion about it? Should we have like clear line, and should we have some rules about it?
Yes.
In media.
In media, yeah. Well, I think in media, its sole purpose is to deliver information, right? And then I think rules like that are necessary. Just like rules in competitions are necessary. I thought your question was, where do we draw the line?
That was the previous one, but you can address to that one as well.
Yeah, because the line in documentary, like you said, was you shouldn't interfere with the environment.
Subject, yeah.
Yeah, with the subject. Actually, the line has been drawn already because I looked up the copywriting laws in the US. And previously, everything created by robots was there was no copyright on it. 5 months ago, they actually had to draw the line. Where they drew the line was if AI is a tool in your craft, and not just like where you base yourself from. So if you start from a prompt, it's AI. If it's a tool in your craft, it's photography. And if the majority of your image is photography and not AI, and that's where they drew the line. So I think it's really interesting. Another line that we can talk about that has been drawn is in competitions, like for instance in the FAP, that AI categories cannot be counted towards professional photographer of the year. And I think it's really interesting that they drew that line, and I think really necessary and good. They created a different category, it's great, but it doesn't count towards photographer of the year. So yeah, those are some pretty distinct lines that we should definitely also draw in Europe, because I think US give a really good example in that.
Yes, so I think majority here agrees that should be actually the line between those things, because we need something to believe, isn't it? We need some kind of, even documentary photography can be manipulative. We need documentary photography to live apart from something which is not that one. So, but in a way, if we are going that way, and we need some rules to define. And like several people here said that we are already having our phones software or AI plus or something like that that really bends the truth in a way. Do we regulate that one as well or not? Are they the fun tools, or the image which going from the telephone, which is already manipulated, can go to the newspapers or not?
Yeah, it's obvious can go, and it goes several times.
It's going and it's going, of course.
Yeah, it's going. And but one thing that he mentioned, and I think it's interesting, is nowadays where we are living, where you can check about the truth. So you had so many people with cell phones filming and photographing things, the truth that is happened, the truth what it is, that it's really about the manipulation. It's more difficult because it's more easier to have different counterparts that can prove the other side. And I think this is a part that it's interesting, and it's easier to show that something is not true. And I think this is an interesting part. About the cell phones, you just have to turn off the apps to because it's you can control a bit of this.
Yeah.
I remember once I used it for this app that put your face all clean, and first time that we used, whoa, who is this? It's just turn off.
Okay,
you can control this.
Of course, but do we need in that area something like self-regulation and ethic, or do we need laws to regulate that one? What do you think? Do you see the difference? Is everybody perception, do I doing or not? Is it a manipulated image or not? Or we need a law that somebody can say, okay, this is not a real image, I'm going to sue your ass because of that. Do we need laws that regulate that area, or just ethics? What do you think? Because it's the first. Ethics can be a very stretchy term. Everybody's ethics is different. And law is something like more, yes, you got something about it.
The ethics are already also in photography, how you work with people on the street, how you photograph people, or when you reproduce images, when you publish images. So the ethics is why you take the line for yourself, put a line for yourself, and put a line to other people. In my opinion, I say always, I will not do to anyone else, but I will not they do to me. That's for me a line. In using of the phone, I think there are rules, but that's regulation. We need some regulation, what we can do and what we not can do. And yeah, but it's always with new things. The regulation is always some years behind of the evolution of the material, of the software or the programs. So first thing,
yeah, of course, we have to see what is happening actually to regulate it. Yeah. But do we need, let's say, something like if we put image in the software, whatever it is, that in EXIF data or whatever it is in data should say that is manipulated image or not? Like we said, we got a raw image and we know what is raw image in EXIF data or something like that. Do we need something like a proper regulation to put, when you put image in something like AI tool or Photoshop with big manipulation or whatever to see the change with changes the truth? Do we need that one or we are putting that away?
Maybe I can take an answer. Maybe it's
Please.
No?
Sorry? Yeah?
Yeah, this is again, this hard. I will tap on the media thing. Laws saying that you cannot post AI images will be impossible in my mind. There can be guidances, and I would love to see that I would have at least in Finland one media that I can trust, and they would put topic that it's AI generated images, but those are more guidances and common ground place with the bigger media that will do that. But the problem is that we will get our news so much more in different locations, and that is on open field, not only from big media, we will get from social media, and that is we cannot regulate in that form. I don't think, in my view, there won't be a laws denying use of AI. They cannot like stop it, and to make a law that press media type, how you draw a press or media in general, there should be I think the big media should have the top like title that it's AI generated, because I want to believe that I want to trust this media, but it's like so minor part of the media what we get, and they cannot control that at all and regulate that pictures has to be real, in my mind. And laws comes, I don't know, like too late, like easily. So.
Okay, we are now approaching in almost 1.5 hours of this debate. We touched several questions. We didn't touch that one. Why do we need actually that photography? But maybe it's that one that we put open to think over. Is there any from the public that want to ask, or we are wrapping out the topic? Quiet.
It was already said, and also already said something like that. The images are created out of the blue, but they're actually not created out of the blue. It's all fed with a lot of data, and so it's a learning process. And the problem or the challenge I see for the future is that all that data that is being fed, where does it come from? It can be coming from a good source, or it can come from a bad source. Alpi also before said something about these pictures or these paintings from Picasso. If you now on Google, you see a lot of paintings that are like Picasso. But if you feed all these paintings in your model, then in the end, your model will think, oh, this is a Picasso, and then you can ask them, can I show you a Picasso? And everything is not so good. So, yeah, how can we regulate such a thing? I think it's very difficult.
Everything is difficult in the beginning, so if nobody has anything to add, I would like Karin to close the debate, and should we all go for a beer or whatever?
I think we need one. I want to thank you all. What I learned this 2 days from Antti is that there is also a possibility to create with AI, and as a creator or a painter or whatever, that you can have an idea and that you use the thing to create your own thing from scratch without trusting on everything that's already in the fed in the how do you call, I don't know in English, but that you can really have a concept and work it out in AI as well and create all your prompts yourself by making pictures or paintings or whatever, and
feed your own thing, so that's it's a way of creating new things. And but that's quite a different thing from media. So I think there will be a discussion for next years to come, and here this evening we will not solve all the problems. So, but I want to thank you all for this interesting discussion, and I thank the public for participating this discussion. Thank you very much, and I think we all need a beer, yeah.
Thank you all.